Open up your mind to the way, the conscious way, the way of conscious mindfulness. Podcast with me, Sifu Boggie. Sifu means guide, means somebody who points you along the way, who guides you on your path. Boggie is my martial art name, my spiritual name and my healing name, and it means the balancer between the chaos and the calmness. And for the last 39 years, I have been studying the Daoist arts. The Dao means the way, the path, the balance. And they have many different techniques, many different skills, like Qigong, Tai Chi, Tit Ta, Tui Na, Chinese massage, reflexology, Daoist life coaching, and many other techniques and skills that I have studied for the last 39 years, and they are used in different pathways like the DragonDog Shaman, the Barefoot Doctor, the Cloud Whisperer, the Qigong Healer or Shun Qi Shen Sifu, and many other pathways. And I use these techniques to help people help themselves, to help them reduce anxiety and stress, to reduce pain, chronic pain, fibromyalgia, migraines, many other different ailments and injuries that my students and clients have helped themselves with using these different techniques I teach. But I've also helped life coaches, healers, energy workers supercharge themselves, and anybody else supercharge themselves and ensure they never burn out. So that's what I do. That's who I am. What's this show all about? Well, this is Sit Down with Sifu on the Saturday. Hello, Saturday. And this is episode 26, The Tao of Guan Yu, or General Kuan. Now, in episode 22, we talked about in Daoist philosophy, everything is a metaphor. There is lots of different sacred numbers, and the numbers have different metaphors within them. So we talked about the episode 22 was the Tao of the Sacred Child, which is part of the three ones. So a lot of people talk about the Divine Feminine or even the Divine Masculine, but there is actually three: the Divine Feminine, the Divine Masculine, and the Sacred Child. But these are not actually people as such. These are actually energies, qualities, characteristics. And within the Daoist philosophy, very much you need to embody and to imbue the divine feminine aspect into yourself, the divine masculine aspect into yourself, and the sacred child aspect into yourself. As I always say, whether you're man, woman, banana, or goat, we all have these qualities, the divine feminine, divine masculine, and the sacred child. And when we balance them together and blend them together, we find our Tao, our way, our path. So, as I said, this episode is all about Guan Yu, or Kuan Yu. Now, the name, firstly, can be spelt G-U-A-N-Y-U or even K-U-A-N-Y-U, but it's normally pronounced Guan Yu. Guan Yu. A little bit like Kuan Yin, but it's actually Guan Yin, or Kuan Yin is a similar thing. So, Guan Yu, or General Kuan, is, well, he's a few things. He is actually a historical figure in China, and he's actually one of probably the best well-known historical figures in the East. He's actually appears in a lot of comics and a lot of movies. And there is an old historical book, very well known in the East, a historical book called the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and he plays a very important role in that book. But like I say, it is actually semi-historical. There is both the man and there is also the legend. let's firstly talk about the man for a little bit, because, like I say, he was a real person. Now, he was born roughly between 160 to 162 AD, and he died in 219 or 220 or 221. There's a little bit, depending who you talk to, that date changes a little bit. And he was known as a great warrior, but a great warrior in a different sense, and we'll get to that. And when he died, like say, some say 219 AD, some say 220-21, he died also in battle with his son, Guan, and Guan was only 16 years old. Now, Guan Yu himself, like I said, he was this renowned as this great warrior, but he was a great statistician. He used his ability to win battles was well known, but it was also about actually not having to war. His goal, his aim was to protect people, was to protect the feminine, protect the children, the divine feminine, the sacred children, but to protect the weak. And General Guan is actually known to be one of the founders of the philosophies that are part of Eastern martial arts. Now, in the West, we sort of think martial arts is all about fighting. But the truth, in the East, martial arts is actually about personal development, about understanding, and it's actually certain principles. And in actual fact, which will be a podcast in the future, the whole philosophy of Star Wars, George Lucas based Star Wars, and especially the Jedi, on certain principles, Eastern principles, Daoist principles, and the Shaolin was, because Shaolin's Buddhist, but the Buddhists and the Daoists are very much interconnected, which is another podcast for the future, about the Buddhists, the Daoists, and the Confucianists. And these principles of, protecting, being service to others, protecting people, was very much a key foundation for General Guan. And also for martial arts. Like I said, he in essence is the foundation of the principles of the true terminology of martial arts in the East. So, like I said, as a person, he lived from around about 162 to 219, but then his legend grew, and especially from this book that was called The Romance of the Three Kingdoms, his story became that of legends. And he was renowned both by the Daoists, the Buddhists, and the Confucianists. Saw him as a very respectable, a very powerful leader, a very powerful person. And irony, in the East, he's known, revered, even worshipped all over China, especially China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and it's interesting the different types of people that revere him in different ways. He's very much in the Hong Kong police. You'll find his statues within the police stations because of his protecting the innocence and the divine feminine, the feminine, the sacred child, and looking after people, protecting people. But he's also revered in the criminal world. A lot of the Chinese mafia and the Chinese criminals revere Guan Yu because he was a great warrior, and he knew how to battle, and he knew how to win situations. And his strategies are very similar to the strategies of Sun Tzu, who wrote the book The Art of Strategy, the Art of War, which nowadays we call the art of strategy, which is also used in business. And it's the same philosophies that can be used in business or in battle, because everything's interconnected. Within, especially Taoism, is that mind, body, spirit, or medical, martial, and meditational, is that these different skills can be used in different ways. So, like I said, you can find his statues in police stations. You can find, he's the patron deity of a lot of criminals. Business owners have his statue to protect their business, but also as a lot like a lucky charm to increase wealth into their business. And as I said, he's also honoured by both Daoists, Confucianists, and Buddhists. Now, what came from the man came the myth, the myth and the legend. And Guan Yu, General Guan, is very much known as the energy of, almost connected to the energy of Arc Angel Metatron, and therefore the sacred geometry of Metatron's cube, which is also the tetrastahedron. Now, what's this? Well, within sacred geometry is supposed to be the magic of science, or the sacred geometry is the different patterns and different shapes that are actually fundamental within the fabric of the universe. And Daoists in general will say that magic is purely science, not yet understood. So, you have both the flower of life and you have the tetrastahedron. And the tetrastahedron is 64 pyramids interlocking to create a certain shape, which is also said to be connected to and almost a power tool to Archangel Metatron and also Guan Yu, or General Guan. So these 64 pyramids are interlocking and they create a certain shape. Now, its complementary opposite is the flower of life, which we see it as a symbol. We see it as 64 circles. It's actually spheres, and the sphere, the pyramid, fits into the sphere in a perfect radius. So the points of the pyramid fit into the sphere, and the sphere and the triangle are interconnected. They are, if you've heard of the Tai Chi symbol, yin yang, it's like the yin and yang. They interconnect together. So this 64 pyramid structure is actually the complementary opposite of the 64 spheres of the flower of life, which is also connected to and in relation with Kuan Yin. So the divine feminine, which is Kuan Yin, its complementary opposite is General Guan, and the tetrastahedron, or the Metatron's cube. So within this sacred geometry, you'll see these two symbols interlaced within different stuff. Now, a version of the Metatron's cube is the Merkabah, or Merkabah, and it was known as the chariot, but it is also known as your energy transporter. Is that your energy vessel, like a version of you, a ship of you, is that it can be used within Taoism, Daoist alchemy, is that and also other philosophies as well. It's actually found within Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism, the Merkabah, Tibetan Buddhism, big thing in Tibetan Buddhism. The Merkabah is very, very important, and again, it is actually, the Merkabah is also another version, another version of the Metatron's cube, which is Archangel Metatron, which is General Guan Yu. So, General Guan is about this protector energy, but not controlling, or the thing with these equalities, so the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and the sacred child, especially in the East, again, like I say, whether you're man, woman, banana, or goat, these qualities exist in everyone and everything, and these are qualities. When it's the divine, it is balanced. Now, General Kuan, he's very much connected to his divine feminine. He's very much connected to his sacred child, just like Kuan Yin is very much connected to her divine masculine and very much connected to her sacred child, and the sacred child has the elements of the divine masculine, divine feminine. These are all interlaced, they're all interconnected with each other. So rather than being separate, which is what happened when we just become pure masculine energy and about control and being a fighter and attacking stuff. When we become that divine energy, the divine masculine side is about being the protector. It's the protector of the feminine, protector of the innocent, protector of those who can't protect themselves. And as I sort of hinted already, that General Kuan is very much the Jedi energy. He would be very much seen, the statues of him, he is this big man who's a big sturdy block of a man, normally with a very long beard, quite big ears, quite long ears, which in Eastern philosophy, the long ears represent spirituality and connection. And he normally has well, it's called like a spear axe. It's a very interesting, big long staff, and there is a big blade on the end of it. Sometimes he has a sword, but it's a little bit like the lightsaber. He doesn't want to use this. It's there if he needs to, but he'll almost like in negotiations, a bit like the Jedi, he would place that on the table, or you sort of show and say, right, let's negotiate. Without threatening, the whole idea is, look, I don't want to fight you, but if you force me to, I will. And if you force me to, I will use everything in my power to do what's right. It's not about control and manipulation. And this is this integral thing. This is what you sort of hear me say quite a few times. General Guan is all about doing what's right, and not what's right to man, but what's right to the universe, the balance, what's right to the Tao, the balance, the way, the path. So, and like I say, is that he's not afraid to fight, but he doesn't want to fight. He chooses not to fight if he can help it. It's about using that strength to do what's right, to help people and guide people. So spiritually, the Merkabah is about using that energy to balance things, using that energy in the just way, the universally Daoist just way, not the just way of man or society or this or that. So it's all about, like I say, a bit like what the Jedi has represented, what George Lucas represented, because the Eastern philosophies were used to create the Jedi and the Sith, and the Force is all about Qi. It's all about the Daoist qualities and more. So, but especially Guan Yu was very much the Jedi side. The Jedi side was very much represented by Guan Yu. This thing of justness, this thing of doing what's right, protecting people in a certain way. And then, as I said, so going on from that, it's then about the sacred geometry, which is the spiritual science, and the sacred geometry is all about this well, sacred geometry is both feminine and masculine, and you will find different you will find these different sacred geometry patterns within the whole of the fabric of the universe. Very much the flower life is seen within flowers and seeds, and even within our DNA, and the Merkabah, the Metatron's cube, the star tetrahedron. You'll actually find that they're actually starting to find these triangles and squares within fabric of space itself. So it's very much like the language, it's the coding of the universe. So understanding the Merkabah is a very powerful tool. It's a very transformative tool, and like I say, General Guan, he was very much known the Merkabah, and then when you advance more into it, the tetrastahedron, the Metatron's cube, this energy, like I say, in the West we talk about Archangel Metatron, who's very much connected to the Metatron's cube. In the East, that equivalent is General Guan. And he is, like I say, he is an energy of reverence. He's an energy of, he's there to maintain the universal law, not the law of humans or man or society or a certain organization, but the law of the universe, what's right, what's just, which is what in the Star Wars movies is what the concept of the Jedi was about, is the just being what's right, what's just. It's not necessarily totally Daoist, as in totally balanced, but it's definitely about this just energy. So, meditating on General Kuan, thinking of that energy is thinking of like the divine masculine, thinking of that father-like figure, that protector, the one who stands there, and like I say, he doesn't intervene if he has to. He's not, he's balanced within his own feminine and masculine and sacred child. So he only intervenes if he needs to, rather than because he wants to or because he thinks he must, which is he wants to. So it's this energy concept of the divine masculine or General Guan is this ability to protect those who need it, to protect what is fair, what is right, to protect those who can't protect themselves. Hence why, especially in Hong Kong, the police stations have General Guan for that way. And he was known as this great warrior that, if he had to therefore fight, he could then do what he needed to and get things done, which is why the criminal organisations have him as their sort of patron deity. But he was also about, protecting businesses and protecting, your organisation, protecting things, keeping it in order. Your personal order, your personal Daoist order. So Dao, your own personal path, your own personal way. And he was about protecting that. So this energy is something to revere to. This energy is something to be, is to imbue the energy of Guan Yu. Like I say, is in modern times he would definitely be a Daoist. Daoist. He would definitely be a Jedi. He would definitely, he would be alongside Yoda and Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan. He would definitely be one of the the people alongside them, battling for what's right in a universal sense. So it's this idea of this strong masculine energy, but in a balanced way, not to be controlling, not to be manipulative, to do what's right, to protect those who need that protection, but not to control them, not to, overtake. But he was also known as there is a fun-loving side to him, or there is this slightly mischievous side that, and his energy, his philosophy was part of what George Lucas used for the Jedi. The Jedi were the sort of people who would place a lightsaber on the table and go, let's negotiate. He was that sort of energy. He was like, I am here, now let's have peace. So it's this commanding energy. And it's within Daoist and Buddhist, especially concepts, they would be about imbuing that sort of energy. Like I say, because it doesn't matter whether you're male or female. To imbue the energy of Guan Yu, General Guan, is to have that authoritative figure, is to be in command of your Tao, which is your life, your way of doing things. So it's to following your path, because that's the point. You follow your path, your Tao, but do it in a balanced way. And the balance is the Tao. The balance is not a flat line. It's this, it changes, it shifts, it turns. But it's knowing how to do it, and taking responsibility as well. So it's not just about saying, I'm in control and this is what we're going to do, but take responsibility. So when mistakes are made, you take responsibility. When you need to actually, allow, to step back a little bit and allow things to happen, you take responsibility for that. You be, in Taoism, we've heard this saying in the West, is that be like a child, but take responsibility like an adult. And that adult side would both be General Guan and Kuan Yin. But it's that, it's that doing what needs to be done, but also doing what needs not to be done. So sometimes stepping back and allowing things to be, which is very much a Taoist quality, is very much as about, allowing things to flow into shape, but also allowing things to flow and allowing things to be what they need to be. I could quite easily delve into this far more, but maybe we'll do another one in the future where we'll have somebody sort of, ask me a few more questions. But there is, like I say, as a man, there is actually a lot of historical stuff there, and he's, especially in the East, very, very well known historically. And like I say, this book, which was semi-historical, the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, it very much showed about, his way of protecting those who need protecting, and also being this great warrior. But, a warrior in a balanced way, a warrior in a good way. It's not about just fighting people. It was about doing what was right, and sometimes not fighting at all, just being there made the difference. And that's what I try to imbue, and that's what I encourage you to imbue, that energy of, like that Jedi, or like, General Guan, of being that presence, that, just being there allows things to flow in a certain way. And then, if you have to interject, if you have to, move forward, if you have to do something, then you do. But you only do it because you need to, not because the ego takes over. And this is the thing with the divine masculine. The ego is very much, that is in control. The ego is very much in control. It's not about taking things over or doing it because I'm the big I am and you must be done. It's more about just your presence. It's more about that confidence. It's more about doing what needs to be done. And, is that if I have to step in, I will. But my goal is just to be here and raise the vibration, which is also what the Merkabah is all about, is raising the vibrations, and the star tetrahedron is about being that masculine balance to also then, therefore, be introduced with the feminine or divine feminine balance of Kuan Yin, and that sacred child energy, that playful energy. It's about balancing these off. So it's not about one or the other, or one of the three. It's about all three. It's about balancing the feminine, the masculine, and the sacred child. So I said, we'll wrap it up, but and then carried on for a little bit longer. But so, if you have any questions, if any of this, you want to know a little bit more about General Guan itself, or the energy, or the connections, like I say, the Eastern representation of Arc Angel Metatron is General Guan, and therefore it's connected to the Merkabah and the tetrahedron. So if you're interested in this, why not, message me. You can message me. You can find me on Spotify under The Way of Conscious Mindfulness and or Sifu Boggie. You can find me on Instagram under Sifu.Boggie. You can find me on LinkedIn under my actual name, Paul Sifu Boggie Brighton. I'm even on Facebook, either under the page The Way of Conscious Mindfulness or The Way of Sifu Boggie. And, if you have any questions on this or any other topics, or Daoist style topics, or the Qigong, or healing, or 5-element food theory, or cooking, anything like that, and you want to pop me a question, then, or if you listen to this audio, wherever it is, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on Spotify, message us. You can always connect to me, because I want this podcast to actually be interactive, to actually, interact with you. Now, if you're interested in learning more Daoist life coaching, learning more Qigong, which is energizing exercise, any exercise that generates energy in mind, body, and spirit. That Qigong Shen, that the General Guan, the Kuan Yu, and the Sacred Child. Or if you're interested in Tai Chi, if you're interested in the Chinese equivalent to Reiki, I actually teach Reiki as well, but I also do the Chinese equivalent, which is Qi Shen, but a lot in America is known as the Qigong healer or Qi healer. If these interest you, we actually have a school, the Shundao School. My family, my Sifu's family system, the Shundao, use many different Daoist techniques, many different things within their system, all intercombined, and then I learnt other systems on top. So it's all part of the Shundao School, and we teach Qigong. We teach the DragonDog Shen or DragonDog Reiki, as well as the other styles of Shen that exist, as well as Daoist life coaching, 5-element theory, self-massage, acupressure. It's all in the Shundao School, and you can find that on Patreon, www.patreon.com/Sifu Boggie. I'm also on Discord under Sifu Boggie's Chi Tribe. So that's a open community, so it's free to anybody to join. And then there's also a private side to it, which is part of the membership to the school, the Shundao School, where we learn Qigong, where we learn energy work and the DragonDog Shaman, the Shen, the flowing side, the Shen Chinese Reiki as well, and also another thing called taichi. So there's all these different techniques. So if you're interested, find me on Instagram, find me on YouTube, find me on LinkedIn, find me on Facebook, find me on Patreon under different variants of Sifu Boggie. If you put Sifu Boggie in, it'll more than likely come up. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and until next time, take care, and remember, open your mind to the way, the conscious way, the way of conscious mindfulness.